Okay, perfect. Hi, Maria.
Hi.
Thank you for being here today in our Fem.mp3 Sound Connect's Hot Wheels takeover of Radio Panini. We are really happy to have you here. I am going to interview you a little bit. I'm going to ask you a few questions about you, your DJing, producing career, your artist career, and in general about the scene here in Copenhagen. So if you would like to start off with introducing yourself, I think the people that are watching us and are hearing us live here today at Jolene would definitely love to hear.
Yes, so just to not make any more confusion about my name, it's pronounced CAYOOTEE or cutie. I love you if you say CAYOOTEE. I like you if you say cutie. So now everyone knows, and then we can continue. So yeah, so I've been playing like DJing for around like 5 years now, and producing for around 3 years, and have been part of like the party scene since I was like 16, 17 years old. But we will come.
Yeah,
like
that is actually our first question. Yeah,
exactly.
So how did you get into the scene here as a DJ, and how did you grow to become a producer and in general an artist here in Denmark? And what were your first steps that you took?
So I started out like being a supporter, like raver, going to raves in Aarhus. I grew up in like right outside of Aarhus, and when I was around like 16, 17 years old, I started going to these underground raves with where the like it was abandoned buildings with only the electricity still on, and and that kind of was like my introduction into the club scene. But I've been like loving music like since I could even hear anything, and yeah, so I think that was the introduction for me. It was a lot of like minimal techno stuff at that time. We are back in like 2005 or 6, so in that era.
So then you started DJing, right?
So I didn't start DJing like back then. I started just like throwing parties also myself later in my teens in Aarhus, and just being like a full-on supporter for my DJ friends. I was like surrounded by a lot of creative people in that community, so that also inspired me a lot. But I didn't really feel. I tried vinyl, but it was not really my thing. So that kept me from taking it that much more seriously. I couldn't really take it seriously, maybe just myself seriously. And so I kept like pushing it in front of me. And then when I turned 30, I was like, okay, now this is my ultimatum. Now I'm doing it. I'm like trying to do this properly, and let's see what happens. And then at least I tried it.
And after DJing for a while, you thought that producing is also a fun idea.
Yeah. So my husband, when we were like during the first lockdown, he has been producing for like more than 10 years. So he had the equipment at home, and I thought like maybe I should try it out. Couldn't hurt. And then I made my first like real track and sent it into a radio show on P3. It's like the Danish equivalent of BBC One, I think. And then they really liked it, and they kept playing it like it was like 17 times, I think.
Oh, that's pretty good.
So I was like, okay, if they like it and people seem to like it, then maybe I should continue this. And then I just kept on going with the producing stuff.
That's super nice to hear. And we are happy to have you in the scene.
Thank you.
How has your music journey, when we are specifically speaking about genres or music selection, how has it evolved? And what did you maybe play more at the start? I mean, you mentioned melodic techno. How has it evolved now?
So, like, for me as a DJ, I've never like. That was part of like me partying. That was the techno stuff. It was not really that kind of music that I like to play myself. So I started out with house. House music. I've played house music and loved house music. Also, I'm like, so, you know, now that I'm kind of old. So I remember MTV when they have the music videos, and back in like 1999, there was like the big French touch era, and that kind of house, Daft Punk, Cassius, all that type of music was really like all over the place. So that was some of the music that really like kept being in the back of my mind. And when I then started playing myself, I played a lot of house music, Chicago house, French house, and stuff like that. Early 2000, late 90s stuff. And then it's like I went more in a UK bass era, and then a lot of like bass music. Footwork is also something I really love to play. It's not that common for me to play it in Copenhagen, so I produce it a lot for other people to play outside of Denmark, and yeah, so it's like from Chicago to Chicago. I went all the way around, still Chicago.
All right, and you're still
always Chicago.
And do you think, like in the future, there's any genres that you would like to dive more into?
So right now, I'm actually doing a lot more of like Jersey club, Baltimore club,
that's fun.
Miami bass style, trying to incorporate that into more like breaky stuff. So I also use a lot of jungle elements in
I
the
think
tracks.
it's getting bigger in here in Copenhagen in general, like bass music,
well.
Jungle, drum and bass. I think it's.
So I try to combine
now.
a lot of stuff, and if I feel like putting in some acid, then I'm putting some acid. So I'm not that restricted in the genres that I use when I produce. I think it's fun to do something unexpected. So that's something that really is like a trademark for me in the music that I produce.
Okay, that's really nice. Thank you. Speaking about different genres, different people, do you have anybody, like a role model, anybody who specifically inspires you? And what do you do maybe in the moments, as you've been in the scene for such a long time, what do you do in the moments when it feels maybe uninspiring, or when you just don't feel inspired to do stuff yourself? Do you have any stuff that you do yourself, and maybe any tips for beginners?
Yeah, so production-wise, I was very fond of Rick Rubin and his approach to doing it, because I was not in the beginning that technical about it and felt like an imposter. So like kind of using him as a mentor in the beginning, and then so he inspires me a lot, his philosophy and his work, and he also wrote a book about it with creativity. And then at the moment, I'm doing the Artist Way course. That's like 12 weeks where you really deep dive into your creativity and try to use different techniques to foster some new ideas and thoughts, and maybe like evolve creatively. So that's something that I'm doing right now to kind of work with my like getting more inspiration.
Okay. And do you have any tips for beginners maybe?
Yeah, so get out there, like talk to people, and like keep going. Don't expect people to just like
give it to you.
Find you. If you have to approach people with your stuff and your work, and make sure that they see you, or they are supporting others as well. And yeah, then also learn about the history of the genres that you like, because the DJing is also kind of educator. for the club. So we have to keep that going for the next generations as well.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's very honest. How do you feel, honestly, like, to reword the question, when you started in the music scene, did you feel comfortable coming in it as a woman DJ? And and has it changed now? Do you feel that the scene has become more inclusive? And so what have been the main differences since when you started?
So when I started, there was no talk about like Flinter or diversity. All that is like been something that come up for the last like year or two in Denmark at least. And also my experience was that I started out when there was the lockdowns. So that is also a very kind of like
it was a different time.
A different time. If people remember, they like the lineups that were booked, they kept getting cancelled. So it was like the people that were already booked got rebooked. So you couldn't get in front of the line.
Yeah.
You kept going like back again in the back of the line, waiting for your turn. And then I thought it was a lot of people were struggling then. So I think that maybe that's also why it were more closed off. It wasn't like people like, here, come, open arms, come into our scene, let's go. Just like be a part of this. But I think it's just like there was a lot of changes. A lot of people kind of retired. They liked the silence for once, and then it shifted. A lot of new people got the opportunities to come out and showcase what they could do.
And do you think it's like clubs, festivals, or the environment in general that has become more open to everybody?
I think it's in general, and it's also still something that it's still in the works. There's still a lot of work to do, and it's not like it's perfect now. But it's something people consider more in bookings and parties all over the spectrum of festivals and clubs and such. Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe speaking about this a bit more specifically, do you think that there are any problems that Flinta artists struggle in the scene, in music scene in general, maybe here in Copenhagen, or if you have any broader views about it, and what do you think maybe still needs to change, or what are the things that should be improved?
Yeah, so I think like, and I can only like speak from my own experience and what I've spoken with people about. It's like there's still this fear of, am I booked because they needed someone to make this lineup seem more like
inclusive?
Yeah, and so people could get away with it. There's always this thought in the back of your mind about that, and also. Of course, there have to be, and it's become a lot more common now with the safer space policies, but it really does make a difference for the Flinta community overall, that this is something that is more common now. It's not perfect. It's like nothing is perfect right now. Maybe it will never be, but it's like, we are getting there. I think that it's more in the community, the DJs and promoters and people like that, they understand the policies and the safer space agenda, but it's more the crowds that need to also be educated and know what they're getting themselves into.
What do you think is the problem with crowds?
So the problem, from my experience, that could be something like people. We are here at Jolene right now, so the booth is very accessible. So people can sometimes come inside the booth and be like, "Hey," and people are like, "Who
ask
are
for
you?
songs. Yeah.
Are you a friend of someone?" So we like kind of ask each other, and then sometimes I've been the bodyguard of the DJ booth just to make sure that like the DJ that were playing that not being bothered by someone just like having a request or wanted to ask where they're from or how old they are, something really ridiculous question like that. So that happens. So I think that is also something that hopefully with time it will be more not accepted, but more a thing that just like
is a bit more understood in general.
Yeah, it's just like how it is.
Yeah. Do you think that in general the public for electronic dance music clubs is changing?
Yeah, I think so. And I'm not sure if you say it's just both good and bad or all is bad, but there's a different crowd going out now, and the next generation or the younger people are more concerned about what they can get out of going out instead of what they can contribute with and being a part of the community. They just want to come, party, be like a part of it for that night, and then they go back home, and then
they kind of just want to be seen, because the thing is that a lot of the electronic dance music scene nowadays is sometimes seen as something that you're cool if you are a part of. I think that is also a problem that we sometimes see, that people just try to, as you said, they don't really want to contribute to the feeling. They want to just be shown.
Yeah. And sometimes then some genres become aesthetics, or like something that when I put on this clothes, then I'm like techno party goer or something like that.
I know what you're
then
saying,
it will kind of also be like the people that have just been listening to it for a long, long time and just came with the clothes to the rain and not even feel at home anymore.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of a difference in understanding and what is club culture anymore. Where we're going, it's both exciting and also really scary.
Yeah.
I think it's really
I guess
scary.
everything comes with its like good sides and downsides. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, well, it's good to hear your honest opinion about this. And lastly, we have a question about, in general, what could be your hopes and wishes for the music industry in general, and maybe for some marginalized groups that are in it? What would be your perfect music scene?
I'm finding my notes
Of
now.
course.
So just because I want to make sure that I mention all of the notes that I've
Of course.
got. So right now, there's only 2% of producers that are women. It's just, if you didn't know, all of you sitting here, there's only 2% worldwide. That's not a lot.
That's crazy.
So we need some more girls in here. Like
Exactly.
we need to make, and there's a lot of people doing that. Earlier today there was this DJ workshop here, and that also helps with the, maybe that would be a gateway for someone
That's what
like
we're
me
trying to do today.
into maybe producing later, and so that is one of the things that I have some hopes and dreams about, like. And then
Do you in general think that also here in Copenhagen the music industry is quite male dominated? Have you have any personal experiences with that?
Yeah, I think that when I started out, I didn't really think of myself as a minority or anything like that, but then or political at all, and it was just like me, what I wanted to do. But then it became a lot more how I was representing something, and also I played some gigs where some really young girls would come up to me and be like, "Oh, can I have your autograph?" And I was like, "What the hell?" But that was like kind of representation for them, and I didn't see that when I grew up. So in some way, it's changing for the better with representation, with a lot of different women and flinter artists that can show the next generation that that they are also allowed to be a part of this and can contribute to this as well, with who they are and what they look like.
Yeah, and that's what we're also trying to preach today, as also, as you said, with the workshop. We are happy for the girls that have attended today, and that's also us Hot Wheels and Sound Connects that we're trying to promote young talent in general, and we hope to grow it larger and larger, and especially for the Flinta community. And the last question for you, also you already touched upon it a bit, but in general, any advice for young Flinta artists starting their way here in Denmark?
So, that's a big question. It's a really big question. So, like, I will just recommend, like attending the parties that seem like you will find some people that have something in common with you. Try and seek out people that have something in common with you, and you will, despite this industry and just this scene in general, the music industry is in general really harsh, and there's a lot of there could happen a lot of stuff, and it's taking a toll on your mental health as well, and it can be, and then make sure to have someone around you so you can motivate yourself and each other, and also make sure just to educate yourself, educate each other, and show up and be a part of it.
Yeah, that's similar also to what Sophia said earlier. It's just important to show up, and so we are really grateful for you being here today, and thank you for the talk. It was really nice.
You're welcome.
And thank you for all of you listening. We are going to continue shortly with DJ Scheiborg coming on the stage. So let's give up for Maria and also for DJ Scheiborg coming up.
Thank you. Thank you so much.